2, video! Video, video! Video square!
Rolling camera. Okay, so we're going to do a quick introduction to shooting with a DSLR. First things that you kind of want to just go through, if we just go through the menu, so just a few things to watch out for. This is your standard menu. You want to be in video mode, as I am, so that you can be able to change video settings. If you're in the photo mode, you're not going to have the same settings come up. So make sure you're in video mode, and then you can go through the list. This is really that important. You can set custom white balance. If you're just out shooting, you can change your white balance, or if you know how to check the temperature of your environment, you can custom set it. If it's one camera and you're kind of out just doing your own thing, just leave it on automatic. It's the easiest way to go. I'm just kind of looking over the exposure composition. Again, you should know most of this stuff. Don't change any of this stuff. Picture style. Okay, picture style is these standard things. I mean, again, you could just go with auto, or that's kind of weird. That's just going to go in different directions. I don't like auto that much. Standard is fine. Portrait, landscape, whatever. After you use it for a while, you might decide what's best for you if you're into color grading or adding sharpness in post-production. Depends on what you do with your footage. All this blah, blah, blah. Okay, AF mode. So tracking mode, I can show you an example here. And basically what you're seeing is you can pick a spot and it'll grab something that's moving and kind of hold on to it as long as it can. This does have a tendency to jump around and not give you exactly what you want. You kind of get that womp womp effect, which I hate. So there's another kind of flexi zone AF, which is a little bit more in the middle point between that and flexi zone AF single point, which is basically just a single point in the center and where I want to focus. And that way, whatever's in the box is in focus. It's the easiest way to go. Okay, this is important. In here is basically your frame rate, so your frames per second. You guys understand the basics of shooting one frame, and then you also understand the basics of shooting multi-frames, which is burst mode. And what that does is create a movie. And so what this is a menu of different settings that are, so you have 30 frames a second, 24 frames a second, 60 frames a second, 60, and then 30 frames a second at 640. So what these are different settings for frames per second, capturing most amount of information. For anyone over not in the United States, you would typically go with 30 frames per second. And for the United States, most video is shot in 24 frames per second. A lot of internet stuff is also shot in 30 frames per second. You'll see all I there and IPB. All I is just a higher quality format. IPB's more compressed, so if you're not really doing anything but just video for yourself, go with IPB. If you're doing work that you're getting paid for, definitely use all I. And then these frame rates, 60 frames a second, obviously is capturing more data, so you can go slower. Okay. The last thing that you really have to pay attention to on this menu, or at least this page of the menu, is sound recording. Sound recording, you can, either use the onboard mic, which I definitely don't recommend, or you can plug an external mic in and then you can change it manually at the different levels. And you always want to check that before you do anything and before you record any audio. I definitely, again, want to recommend that you do not use the onboard mic if audio is important to you. It's in a bad place. You have to remember that sound waves need a really direct path at a close range to get good quality. The closer you are to your sound source, the better. And the mics on the cameras are really just there for novelty and for sync purposes. They're not there for use in any professional regard. So you can change your settings as far as how powerful it is, its level, and all of that. And then the last thing that's important, again, is just dependent on where you are, is the format that you're shooting in your video system. This will typically be set for the camera that you have, and that's NTSC or PAL if you're in the United States. And some other areas you use NTSC, but generally anybody over the pond over there in Europe uses PAL. Again, just slight differences in formatting, and because you guys have laws that affect the amount of time, because you will notice that these cameras only record for 29 minutes and 59 seconds, and that's because I hear of a law over across the pond where anything over 30 minutes or more is considered a video camera and subject to higher tax. It's the world we live in. what you need to adapt here to is the frame rate that you're shooting. The rule of thumb is if you're shooting 24 frames a second, you want to set your frame rate at 50th of a second, and that's double, so it's double your frame rate. So if you're shooting at 30 frames per second, you want to set your frame rate at 60, and if you're shooting at 60 frames, you want to set your frame rate at 120. And that's just a general rule. There's definitely situations where you can break that rule to either add or decrease light, but it's certain times that you should use it because it is a pretty noticeable difference. When you're at least double the speed that you should be, things will start to look a little funky. So just remember the double rule, and if you're at 24, 50, you're shooting at 30 frames a second, 60, and if you're shooting for 60 frames a second for slow motion, ramp that shutter speed up to 120, wasting precious time. Okay, quick menu. This is important. So quick menu gives you all kinds of different, quick menu gives you all kinds of different things that you can do. First one is your white balance. Again, just leave it as automatic. These are just, again, quick reference points to things that we just covered. Don't change that. Really don't mess with any of that. Your focus mode, there's your drive mode. If you want to shoot photography in video mode, you can push that shutter button and it will take pictures, even while you're recording video. Your frame rate, digital zoom, and then your audio levels right there. So from there, we're back here at this screen, and again, you want to just notice a few things on the screen that it's telling you. It's telling you it's automatic, and here's my focus point to where I set it at. Your focus mode, your drive mode, your frame rate, your sound levels, your user settings as far as sharpness, detail, contrast, all that stuff, and then automatic white balance. And then we'll take it away for shooting the frames, because when you're shooting more frames, things slow down and speed up. I bet I butchered this. I don't think anybody learned anything. Good luck. No, it's introductory. I mean, I'll see if I can chop this together and make it make sense. If not, I'll add some stuff. But basically, that's a rundown of your camera in video mode, and just you want to hit that record button, which is up here. Oh, jeez, I can't even hit that right. And you want to hit your record button, which is right up here. That's your start and stop button. So there's your recording. It's going to give you your video time, and it's going to show you sound levels. You can change the information by pushing your info button at the top. You can get rid of that information or show more information. Again, remember, it's going to run for 29 minutes and 59 seconds, and then you have to restart. So it's not going to do long, I guess, recordings without you kind of paying attention to it. I guess. And then your f-stop correlates as necessary to help you expose properly, and your ISO is another one. I mean, again, I'm hoping you understand the exposure triangle. So that's a short reference video chopped to death about shooting video. Go out and shoot it. Try. I mean, make mistakes. That's how you learn. Bye.
Baby, turn around and say hi.
Hi.
All right, go.